Okay, hey Chloe, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for coming to, hello. Thank you for coming and being prepared to share something of your personal story with us all. So I wonder if you want to start out by just telling us a bit about who you are, where you're from, about your background. Tell us who Chloe is.
Okay, so I was born in Cardiff, and I lived with my sisters and my mum and my sister's dad for the first few years of my life. And my mum had me when she was 16, so like most 16-year-olds, she wasn't able to look after a child. So, and unfortunately, she was getting caught up in things like drugs, and she was really struggling with her identity, and she probably found her identity in men, and probably not the best choice of men. So that resulted in her being addicted to drugs. And my sister's dad, he wasn't a very nice person, so in result, myself and my sisters were we were abused and we were neglected from a very young age. So we ended up going into foster care, but luckily we were able to be fostered by my auntie and my uncle, who were Christians.
Yeah.
And I remember actually living with my mum, and I used to always say to her, "Can I go to church with Clive and Fiona?" Because I knew they went to church, and I don't think I really knew much about church at that point. But I do remember really struggling, obviously, with the circumstances I was in. And I remember praying, and I don't think I really understood who I was praying to, probably. But I remember that gave me lots of comfort. So yeah, when I was fostered, I was really excited because I got to go to church, and I loved going to church.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, for the first few years, I really, really loved it. My sisters lived with us as well. My sisters got they got adopted then, when they were, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, maybe I'm making that up, but around that age. And that was probably the hardest time for me, that when they got adopted and they moved away. So yeah, that was really difficult. But my auntie, my uncle, and my cousins, we had a great upbringing from them. They really supported me through everything that I was going through, and obviously experiencing past trauma was hard to probably navigate some of my teenage years as well. And yeah, I went to church a lot and I really loved it, until I was probably 14, 15, where then I was struggling with my identity and I didn't really want to go to church. I just wanted to be out with my friends all the time, and I probably wasn't making very good choices at that point either.
Okay, Chloe, so that was you in your sort of upbringing,
Yeah.
to your sort of teenage years. But now you work for Gateway Church
Yeah.
as a youth worker. You'd call yourself a Christian.
Yeah.
What changed?
So I think the first time, so like I say, I went to church, and even until I was a bit older, I probably didn't know what it meant to actually have a relationship with Jesus. So I was going to church because I had to go to church at that point. And I might have enjoyed it and I made some friends, but I didn't really understand the relationship side of it. I thought everyone was a bit wacky, to be honest. But
Probably not far wrong.
no. But we were going on as a church, a youth week away, and I really didn't want to go on it because it was my last summer in school and I wanted to be with all my friends.
But so would you have been about 15, 16 at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my auntie was like, "We've paid for it, you go in." So I went, and it was on that week that I say I had my first experience of who Jesus was. And the whole time it seemed like he was avoiding me. Everyone around me was having experiences of him, and I was praying to have these experiences, but I wasn't. And one night my cousin came up to me and said, "I don't know why, but I feel that you're struggling to have an experience with Jesus because of everything you're holding, and you've not let go of your past." And I don't think I realised that. And I think it was at that point that I was really able to process my past and able to move on and forgive the people of my past, and be able to start having a relationship with Jesus. So yeah.
Okay, and so now you more than just would say you're a Christian, you work for the church,
Yeah.
you're a youth worker. What does that mean to your life? Why did you choose that path?
I think because I saw how Jesus changed my life, I wanted to, I suppose, support other people and support young people to have that same experience as well. And I know that it's hard to be a young person. So it's something I've always been passionate from a very young age.
So you're delighted to be able, I suppose, to use your experiences
Yeah,
to help
yeah,
others is the essence of what I'm
yeah,
hearing you
yeah,
say
yeah,
there,
of course.
if that's what I'm hearing correctly.
Yes, yeah.
So one final question for you. It's
Mhm.
Easter.
Yes.
These videos are about sharing our personal stories of Easter. You know, Jesus came, he walked in our shoes, he walked on the earth for, 33 years, and then on Good Friday, he died on the cross for us. And we talk on Easter Sunday about the great resurrection. So it's, we're talking about Easter, that's what it's about. So how has Easter changed your life? For people who perhaps don't get this sort of whole connection, how's Easter changed your life personally?
Good question. Big question. And I love this question because it's probably very different for everyone you ask. But for me personally, knowing that God sent his only son, Jesus, to walk on earth and experience things that we've experienced and go through the hardships of being a person, and then he sacrificed himself so that no matter what my past is, no matter what anyone else's past is, no matter what our future is, because we're humans and we're going to keep doing stuff that is wrong. He forgave us and he died on the cross to take away all of those wrong things that we've done and all the wrong things we're going to do, because he loves us. So knowing that there's someone that loves us so much that we can't do anything that is going to separate us from him is, yeah, something to be excited about.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Chloe, for sharing your story, and I hope that you have a lovely Easter.
Thank you, you too.